Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Donegan. Welcome to Radical Age Reversal, where we talk about longevity hacks and really good lifestyle habits that are not hard to do. We're going to bring in our Win Win Women audience now. Welcome to the Win Win Women audience. I'm Carrie Donegan. This is Radical Age Reversal, and we are in the book 30% Happier in 30 Days. And we're doing a great job, everybody. We're more than halfway through, and I think we've just accumulated such great information from Dr. Daniel Amen. And so today's chapter is day 23. And remember, if you have decided to do a 30-day practice of this increase in happiness, you can do one chapter a day. Or if you just want to follow along with me and do one chapter a week, we can actually put into play these tips, these hacks, these scientifically proven tools and habits to really increase our happiness level. And today's chapter is one that I think we can all benefit from because we all tend to be people of fear. It is one of our survival skills. So I don't want you to think that, fear or negativity is necessarily a bad thing. It just has to be used properly, and we have to understand it intellectually. We can't just stay in our reptilian brain, right? We can't stay in that emotional center where we make decisions based on the feelings that we have and not on processing them at a higher level. It's really important that we always process things at a higher level. So let's dive into the chapter. I have 4 amazing essential oils that are going to help with this. I just want to talk about them real quick before we dive in. One is grapefruit. The other one is black pepper. So those come from 2 single plants. And then we have 2 blends. And the blends are going to be DDR Prime and Zendocrine. And I think you're going to be very pleased at how well these 4 essential oils can work for you. I want you to try something if you have a nice collection of doTERRA oils. I want you to take the grapefruit oil. Always put it in your hand, unless we're talking about a high concentration oil like rose or jasmine that you can smell from the bottle and receive a therapeutic benefit. And then we're going to take the black pepper. And I know some of you are probably thinking, black pepper, what would smell good about black pepper? But actually, black pepper is well known as a very common ingredient in perfumes. So I want you to blend these two together in your hands and just be amazed at the smell of black pepper and grapefruit. Now, is it my go-to perfume? Probably not, but it just shows you how nature can dance together, right? So black pepper and grapefruit smells really, really good. For those of you who do like to blend perfumes, grapefruit would be a high note, something that would flash off very quickly, kind of wakes up your senses but doesn't linger in the perfume. And black pepper is a middle note perfume, so that's going to kind of tie together something deeper. So what you're not going to get from blending these 2 oils together is you're not going to get that sense of grounding. You're going to feel like something is missing because really you want to have a base note to all perfume blends. But I don't want to get off on a perfume tangent. Let's get into the chapter. How do we eliminate negativity? You know that old adage, you are what you eat. Well, there's a lot of truth. In fact, scientists are increasingly recognizing that food sensitivities can get you down. Many of the patients we see at the Amen Clinic have undetected subtle food allergies that contribute to the depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, fatigue, brain fog, slow thinking, irritability, agitation, aggression, ADD, ADHD, dementia, and a host of other issues that make people unhappy. What makes these under the radar allergies so tricky to identify is that they often don't trigger immediate reactions. In many cases, it can take several days for symptoms to arise. By then, you're not putting it together that the corn in seemingly healthy salad you ate 3 days ago is linked to your current down in the dumps mood. One of the most powerful strategies we use with our patients at the Amen Clinic, especially people who have not responded to traditional treatment, is called an elimination diet. And if you've never done one of these before, I highly recommend it, even if you don't think you're in this category, because it teaches you to understand how food makes you feel. I'm going to give you a personal anecdote. I went to an amazing birthday party on Saturday night. I was so overjoyed to go. And I have to share with you that I went in knowing I was going to eat a whole bunch of things that I know I don't process well. But in the moment, I was excited to be at the party. I wanted to be part of everything. And, afterwards, I really, really thought about it. Should I have abstained from some of the things that I knew would be triggers for me? The good news is, I know in about 3 days, I'm still going through it, guys. Still not out of the woods yet, I can tell. And I am tweaking it with things like Terrazyme. I'm taking more of my probiotics. It's interesting that one moment of fun, right? Eating things like processed foods. I ate things like enriched wheat, which I know my body does not tolerate well at all. But my friend made homemade pierogies and they were just unbelievably good, but I just don't process those well. So I'm paying for it now. But I know that somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to be totally back on track. So just to show you that if you start to understand where you do feel good and what foods make you feel good, you're going to be able to tweak your diet better. So I recommend an elimination diet, even if you don't think you have an issue whatsoever. Okay, so this involves ditching the following common allergenic foods. So you may want to write these down. One is sugar. Two is artificial sweeteners. That's a big one for me. Nope, can't do those. Gluten, I can a little bit, but it's the enriched wheat that's really the problem for me. Soy, corn, dairy, and food additives and dyes for 1 month. So that's what you do. You just take all of that out for 1 month. It seems a little extreme. Well, consider how some of your favorite everyday foods can zap your zest for life. Sugar. Scheming food manufacturers may try to convince you that the sweet stuff delivers happiness, but it's actually a mood killer. All forms of sugar, even natural honey or maple syrup, cause blood sugar levels to spike and then crash. This negatively impacts mood, increasing anxiousness, irritability, and stress, makes you feel fatigued, and causes craving. So, one of the hacks that I learned from the glucose goddess was if you're going to eat something sweet, even if it's a healthy sweetener like maple syrup and honey. And I do like those two sweeteners. I'm fine with them. Personally, it's a choice I'm making to not go completely sugar free. But what I do is I always pair them with a healthy fat. So this morning I had a bowl of apples chopped up. I put lots of spices on them because I really think that helps as well with blood sugar. I added just a drizzle of a very good quality maple syrup, and I had 3 dollops of a high quality organic plain Greek yogurt. And so the protein in the yogurt, the fat in the yogurt, coupled with the little bit of maple syrup they're going to counterbalance themselves. I also had pecans on it. So the pecans have a lot of good fats in it. So you don't want to eat, she says, don't eat your carbs naked, meaning don't eat just a plain sugar or a carb that's going to turn into a sugar without a fat. That's really important. So there's a hack around it. Okay, artificial sweeteners. Do you think artificial sweeteners are giving you a quick boost of happiness without the downside of sugar? Wrong. Aspartame NutraSweet Equal has been linked to depression, anxiety, irritable moods, insomnia, as well as a host of other neurophysiological issues. Okay. I was so addicted to diet soda for so long that they actually diagnosed me with an autoimmune disease. And I was panicked. I thought, oh my gosh, what does this mean? I'm so young. I was like in my 20s. It was awful. Got off the artificial sweeteners, got off the soda completely. No problem. So food does heal. Just you have to understand which foods are not serving you well and maybe actually a big detriment to your health. Artificial sweeteners, including aspartame, saccharin, also known as sweet and low, and sucralose like Splenda, can also lead to high insulin levels, which are associated with a higher risk for depression, in addition to Alzheimer's disease and a variety of physical symptoms. Gluten. When I first started talking to my patients about gluten sensitivity and how it can negatively impact mood and overall sense of well being, most of them had never heard the word before. These days, gluten free has become a ubiquitous marketing buzzword. Even so, gluten continues to be found in bread, cereal, granola, tortillas, and pasta. It is pumped into foods like barbecue sauce, soy sauce, salad dressing, soup, processed meats, veggie burgers. This is bad news for 1% of the United States who have celiac disease, an autoimmune disease in which eating gluten causes damage to the small intestine, and it also is a concern for the estimated 6%, almost 20 million Americans who have gluten sensitivity. What do gluten sensitivity and celiac disease have to do with happiness? Research has linked them to depression, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, ADD, ADHD, and other issues that rob you of your joy. The good news is that going gluten free has been found to decrease symptoms of depression, ADD, ADHD, and more. In fact, a 2018 review of 13 studies on gluten and mood symptoms involving 1,139 participants found that eliminating gluten from the diet significantly improved depressive symptoms. The research suggests that nixing gluten from the diet may be an effective treatment strategy for mood disorders. Soy. Head to the grocery store and you will find the shelves lined with soy based products. Milk alternatives, tofu, tempeh, and edamame, for example. But soy, which is a protein derived from soybeans, is also found in dozens of other food products such as canned soup, canned tuna, baked goods, cereals, processed meats, protein bars, energy snacks, sauces, and even baby formula. This is problematic because soy contains components that can drain your glass half full outlook on life and turn it into a glass half empty view. Some of the happiness robbing compounds in soy include high levels of inflammation causing omega 6 fatty acids, as well as lectins, which are carbohydrate binding proteins that can also be toxic. As you've seen, inflammation is linked to depression. Corn. Newsflash, corn is not a vegetable. It is a grain, and it is a fatty acid profile high in omega 6 and very low in omega 3, ranks among the worst of all grains. This makes it a sad food that can trigger inflammation and bad moods. Dairy. The scientific jury is still out on whether there is a connection between dairy consumption and mood issues. However, in my practice, I have seen many patients whose symptoms of depression and anxiety worsen when they eat dairy products and who feel better when they cut them out of their diet. Plus, most dairy cows are raised with hormones and antibiotics. So, the other thing is, if you really love your dairy, look for raw dairy, look for grass fed dairy, look for dairy that comes from other countries, not the United States, where we tend to actually overprocess our foods. There's lots of ways to include dairy in your life. And of course, we're just talking about dairy cows right now. So, sheep's milk, goat's milk, other animal producing milk seem to be healthier alternatives for those of you who don't like the gaminess of goat. And I know like a really amazing goat cheese is phenomenal. It's not gamey, but a lot of the the goat cheeses we get in the United States are not necessarily the best. And so you may look at things like a sheep's milk cheese, a manchego, or a halloumi, something like that. That's actually going to be a little less pungent in its nature and more flavorful and brighter and fresher. I think you may enjoy that better. And then, of course, eating from like smaller dairy farms instead of these large, massive industrial dairy farms, you're going to get a higher quality product. So pay a little more, eat a little less would be my advice. Food additives and dyes. Artificial dyes, preservatives, flavorings, and other additives have been associated with mood disorders as well as other issues. You may not realize that these culprits might be sucking the happiness out of you because these ingredients hide in so many common food products. Over 10,000 food additives are allowed in the United States food supply, and our consumption of artificial food dyes has increased fivefold According to a 2010 article by the Center for Science in the Public Interest, if you want to be happier, it's worth temporarily eliminating these from your diet. Here's why. Studies on monosodium glutamate show that it can trigger depressive and anxious symptoms, among other disturbances. The evidence about red dye number 40 is even more alarming. After eliminating these foods for 1 month, notice how you're feeling. Do you feel more upbeat, calmer, less tense, more emotionally stable, more energized, more alert? If so, chances are that one or more of these foods has been causing problems for you. To find out which food is the culprit, reintroduce each of them to your diet one at a time every 3 to 4 days. Eat the reintroduced food at least 2 to 3 times a day for 3 days to see if you notice any physical or physiological reactions. Physical reactions may include headaches, aches and pains, congestion, skin changes, and changes in digestion or bowel functioning. Psychological reactions can include depression, anxiousness, anger, suicidal thoughts, brain fog, forgetfulness, and fatigue. If you notice an issue immediately after consumption, stop eating that food at once. If you notice a reaction over the next few days, eliminate that food for 90 days to give your immune system a chance to calm down and your gut a chance to heal. You may want to eliminate that food forever, but believe me, the end result will be worth it. All right. So, how do we help our bodies in this regard? I wanted to pull out some of my favorite essential oils because I really believe that this is going to help you feel better. So let's talk about our first two single oils. And for this, I also want to tie it into the emotional side of what we're talking about. So I have Essential Emotions. This is a great book. I recommend this all the time, especially when it comes to increasing happiness. And black pepper is considered the oil of unmasking. So that means it's when you hide things about yourself and you're not living your true self. Since childhood, most individuals have been taught that some feelings and behaviors are good while others are not. So instead of seeking to understand seemingly inappropriate feelings and behaviors, they usually judge, condemn, and repress them. Individuals can learn early on that to be loved and accepted, they must hide undesirable aspects of themselves behind a mask or a facade. So, black pepper invites individuals to get real by digging deep within the less understood parts of the self, whether it's one true motives, feelings, or acknowledged or not. So, it reignites the soul fire. So, black pepper is high energy. It's going to make you feel less inhibited, less concerned, less overprotective of yourself. Remember that kind of that fear eraser. You can take this in a capsule. You can use this in a perfume. You can, it goes really well with spice oils. That's why it's in chai. So if you notice that certain blends, like gingerbread spices, for example, and chai spice usually has a black pepper component to it. So you got like a lot of heat, but like warming heat, like body warming heat, things from cardamom and clove and cinnamon, things like that go really well with black pepper. And so you can actually put this under your tongue. It's not going to have the same taste as like chewing on those little black pepper, ground black pepper, like when you bite into a great steak and it has pepper on it, something like that. It's actually going to taste a little, the essential oil concentrate itself will taste like pepper, but it has a different overtone to it. It's almost a little bit minty in its aftertaste. So I encourage you to try it. And I encourage you to diffuse it and encourage you to put it in your perfume for a purpose. You know, whatever that oil you're going to use for that day, add just a touch of black pepper. And I like it on the wrists because this is where blood flow is great, especially if you have cold hands and cold feet. You want to get the oil on those pulse points. So the inside of the ankles and the wrists. This is a great place to put black pepper. And I would just, you know, actually simply just go like that and rub this around. So that's really good. The second one is grapefruit. Now, grapefruit, of course, is going to be photosensitive. So wearing it a lot on your skin may not be desirable, but I would say if you're feeling like you have a lot of negativity in your day, grapefruit should be your go to oil to put in your water and just start to drink that throughout the day. You're going to smell it and you're going to ingest it, and it's going to help you a lot. The other thing you can do is diffuse this oil, especially in your kitchen or where you're working. Most people find grapefruit a refreshing scent. It goes into a lot of different cleaners, and you're not going to get the pushback that you might get from an essential oil blend that is a little less familiar to people. So go ahead and diffuse your grapefruit all you want. Let's read about grapefruit next. So, grapefruit honors your body. So, especially women, a lot of us have negative body associations. We need to get over those. I know when I lost weight on MetaPower, I was so excited, but then it became a battle of how do I retain? How do I maintain? What happens if I gain weight? How am I going to feel about myself? All that negative self talk started to flood back in. It's very common with people who struggle with their weight. And so, using grapefruit does one of two things. First and foremost, it's a great detox oil. So, if you're trying to be healthy and maintain a healthy weight, then using grapefruit on a daily basis is a super tool for you. I love it. I have to get back into the habit of using it, but it is in my Meta Power. So if I don't use it on its own, I do know that I'm always getting it in the Meta Power blend, which I take every day. But adding more grapefruit in can actually help, especially as the seasons change and you might be affected by the colder weather or the fact that the sunlight is decreasing as we go into the winter months. So it says, let's see. Grapefruit teaches true respect and appreciation for one's physical body, supports individuals who struggle to honor their body and are caught in patterns of mistreatment. It's often misused in overly strict dietary and weight loss programs. The reason this oil helps curb emotional eating is because it encourages a positive relationship with your body based on love, tolerance, and acceptance. It encourages integrity by respecting one's physical needs. So, just remember that you want to get to a place where you're grateful for your body, that you're taking care of it because it's a gift, not because it's an obsession or a competition with other people, or you're trying to reach an unhealthy ideal that doesn't exist in the world. Your body is uniquely yours, it works unique from other people's. It is something that you know better than anyone else. And getting to know your body, how it looks, how it acts, how it feels, being able to appreciate all of it in its beauty as you age, all of those different aspects of your body are just going to make you feel good about being alive. And that positivity will automatically rise. Now, let's go on to some blends. The first one I want to talk about is the transformative blend of DDR Prime. This is an oil blend that was originally designed to really protect cells from getting into a morphed state, something that's going to be like a disease state, a breakdown. So it's DNA, damaged DNA repair is what DDR stands for. So it's really good for releasing all types of negative family patterns, which are recorded in the body itself. I actually really like the smell. It has frankincense, wild orange, litsea, thyme, clove, summer savory, neroli, lemongrass, and tulsi. So this is going to be a very astringent blend. It may smell a little bit medicinal to a lot of people. You may prefer to take it in a capsule or buy it in the capsules itself, but it does work really well with the cycles of life and death and personal transformation. By putting off old the old, individuals become free to experience the new. So I encourage you this week, if negativity is plaguing you, get rid of something, whatever isn't serving you. Do you have that piece of clothing in your closet that is not inspirational? It's like punitive. It's like, I can't wear that anymore. And it's just mocking me every time I open the closet. For some people, those articles or clothing are their goal, right? Like someday I'm so excited that I'm going to be able to get to a place where I'm either physically fit or I've lost a certain amount of weight or I've dealt with my food its insensitivities or, that's my goal. So I'm going to keep that as an inspiration. But for other people, it's like a mocking of who they are. It's a punishment. All they hear is the negative talk that, you're not good enough, you can't fit in that, you're fat, all those negative things. So if that's not serving you, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. If you have a stack of papers in your room that you haven't dealt with this week, go deal with them. Like, make it a point to find that thing that you're going to get rid of to make way for good things to come into your life. Now, I'm going to do a little experiment. I have the black pepper on. We're just going to put a dot of DDR prime on my wrists. And actually, I don't dislike it. Like I said, it may smell a little medicinal to some people, but I'm actually kind of enjoying that. Interesting. If you've never tried DDR prime on your body, try it and put it in the comment section and let me know. Do you like how it mixes with your body chemistry, how you feel, or do you prefer to take it internally? Which is always a really positive suggested use for that blend. Okay. Last but not least, we have Zendocrine. I actually really like Zendocrine, the way it smells. Some people, again, this is one of those medicinal blends. So you may think, oh, this is something I have to take internally, or I only put it on my body when, I need to manage maybe my liver or my kidneys. I'm trying to deal with inflammation, maybe some edema, something like that. So this is the oil of vitality and transition. So when you have disease or toxins that are kind of pulling out all that energy, all that life from you, and you want to actually put it back in, right? You want to revive. This is a great way to do that. It was designed to cleanse the organ systems of the body. Emotionally, this blend assists during times of transition and change. It can assist individuals in detoxing old habits and limiting beliefs. It reawakens vital energy, assists in discovering new energy and vitality by encouraging the release of physical and emotional toxins. It has tangerine, rosemary, geranium, juniper, and berry, and cilantro, which some people have that genetic. Oh, I love this smell. This one's a good one. I love Zendocrine. But some people have that genetic makeup that cilantro smells like soap. So, and the soap's not necessarily a bad thing. You may not want to eat it, but smelling it isn't terrible. So I hope I've given you some tips, some new uses for some oils that might be sitting around in your house that you're not using. Get them out again, kind of mix things up. We're changing seasons. We're going from summer into fall very soon in the next couple of weeks. So give yourself some new vitality, some uplifting essential oils. Fall is also a really good time to cleanse. So DDR Prime and Zendocrine would be great cleansing products for this time of year. Thanks for joining me on Carrie Donegan. We've come to the end of another episode of Radical Age Reversal. I'm so grateful for you. Have a blessed week. See you again.